We did it!
Welcome back, you comic book lover you. It's time for another comic book review. There's an amazing movie in the air. Don't you smell it? So to celebrate, we are going to be talking about the #1 in the Shang-Chi's latest comic series. Also, leave a like down below if you want to see me talk about that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm extremely excited for it. Shang-Chi, also known as the Master of Kung Fu and Brother Hand, first appeared in December of 1973 and created by the illustrious Steve Englehart and the ever-talented Jim Starlin. And like another superhero that took the spotlight in 2021, hey, get out of here. Shang-Chi also has some pretty shitty parentage in the form of a spin-off iteration of Dr. Fu Manchu, who was a racist villain stereotype in the early 1930s. But we're talking about Shang-Chi today. Shang-Chi is a master of numerous unarmed and weaponry-based wushu styles, including the use of Gun, Nunchaku, and Jian. But let's get into the story at hand. But I'm not crazy about this. There we go, much better. And without further ado, let's get into Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe, the first issue of a bold new era. We open with some nice backstory for the unfamiliar fans. From the day he was born, his father trained him to be a living weapon. He now uses those abilities to strike down injustice and atone for his family's misdeeds. I love the tone of this already. Previously, Shang-Chi discovered his father's cult-like organization, the Five Weapons Society. Now, discovering his long-lost siblings due to his father's recent passing, Shang-Chi has inherited his father's legacy. But changing his father's evil ways won't be easy. We open with Shang-Chi on a date with a nice young lady, Delilah. And they seem to be hitting it off when Esme, Shang-Chi's sister, keeps texting him wanting to know if she can take aggressive action and taking on the triad guy she's staking out, which is why he and his siblings are in New York to undo all the evil his father's organization left behind around the world, which includes a big drug ring in New York City. Shang-Chi asks his sister to stake out one of the major drug rings on her own. Delilah and Shang-Chi are having an intimate moment when interrupted by a man slamming against the window right next to them. Shang-Chi immediately rushes outside when Delilah runs to go call the police. In ancient Mandarin, Shang-Chi says, "What's the meaning of this? Esme, you're the supreme commander of the Five Weapons Society and you're not taking it seriously." The siblings are interrupted by the man that Esme threw against the window, now up and ready for round 2. He's possessed by a mysterious plant and lunges toward the both of them. Shang-Chi, without a thought, immediately takes him down. Esme then tries to kill the goon again for attempting to threaten the Supreme Commander's life, before being interrupted by none other than Spider-Man, with which Esme immediately responds with attacking the web slinger. Peter, however, moves quick and sprays Esme with some webbing at her and her daggers, which starts this cute running joke with Esme being grossed out by Spider-Man's webbing, comparing it to feeling like snot. What does Spider-Man's webbing feel like? The world may never know. Shang-Chi convinces Esme that Spider-Man is friend, not foe, and therefore commands her to stand down. He also tells her to stop calling him Brother Hand, which is his supreme ruler name. Upon coming in contact with Spider-Man, Shang-Chi's whole demeanor changes, in trying to distance himself from his family's shady past, especially in front of Spider-Man. Throughout the rest of the story, this interesting dynamic is created, with Shang-Chi constantly trying to bolster for Peter and trying to take down this huge drug organization that Spider-Man doesn't know is directly linked to Shang-Chi's family. Even at one point trying to break away from Spider-Man so Shang-Chi and Esme could go do their own thing and trying to stop this secret drug organization. Peter, however, insists on tagging along, claiming that they might be going after the same villain. Spider-Man and Shang-Chi eventually break up from Esme, who goes to find the original root of this plant that was attached to this goon that had just attacked them. Spider-Man and Shang-Chi work well together because they've worked together in the past. Shang-Chi was Spider-Man's former mentor in teaching him the ways and different forms of martial arts. It's not long before they find the warehouse in which the drug pen is being operated out of and almost immediately take down all of the bad guys. Esme, meanwhile, however, finds a man in a plant shop who turns out to be the maker of what's called the urine root. The urine root, an ancient creature which is referred to by Westerners as a Chinese Yeti. The man in the shop explains to Esme that he was able to extract this root from the ancient Yeti and turn it into a weapon that can attach to any host and give them superhuman-like abilities. The man all of a sudden attacks Esme, who in turn leads them to Spider-Man and Shang-Chi, where they've just finished taking down all the drug pins. The man plays this, "Oh, I'm such a poor old man, can you please help me up?" Spider-Man, being the friendly neighborhood spider, attempts to help the old man when the man immediately attaches the urine root to Spider-Man's head, transforming Peter into a legitimate Spider-Man. Grows 2 extra sets of arms and attacks Esme and Shang-Chi. Much to the grossing out of Esme, Shang-Chi convinces her to use Peter's webbing against him to take him down. There's even a panel where Shang-Chi refutes Esme's claims of Spider-Man's webbing feeling like snot, comparing it more like chewing gum. Much to think about. What does Peter's webbing actually feel like? I want to know now. They detach the root from Spider-Man's head successfully, and Peter's turned back to normal. After arguing very intensely with Esme, she finally convinces Shang-Chi to reveal to Spider-Man just why they're truly trying to take down this drug operation, and how Shang-Chi is the new leader of the 5-Weapon Society and trying to undo the evils that his father has done. Peter is very confused by this, and in one of the last panels I just find to be amazing, Peter asks Shang-Chi a very poignant question. "Are you still one of us?" To which Shang-Chi replies, "What does your spider sense tell you?" Shang-Chi's men eventually come and seize all the drugs and the weapons, and then they just kind of take off, leaving Spider-Man to question, is his friend still his friend? And the end. This book was such an enthralling read. I really enjoyed it as someone who didn't really know much about the character Shang-Chi in the first place. I'm extremely excited to read the rest of this series. The second issue is Shang-Chi going head to head with Steve Rogers himself, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this series is up, he'll have faced every single person in the Marvel Universe. Who knows? Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you appreciated this video, please leave a like or a comment. I would love it if you would be able to subscribe, but you know what? Just keep coming back. I love you for it. Stay super. Bye-bye.